Self-improvement changed my life. I really believe that. But there's something nobody in this space talks about. Something I had to learn the hard way. Working on yourself can actually make you more unhappy, not because growth is bad, but because of how most people approach it. And today I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean, because I think it might be the most honest thing I ever said on this channel. Here's the paradox. The more aware you become, the more you see. And the more you see, the harder it gets, at least at first. Before you started working on yourself, you didn't know what you didn't know. You weren't aware of your patterns, your triggers, your limiting beliefs, your self-sabotage. Life felt simpler, not because it was better, but because you couldn't see it clearly yet. Then you start growing, and suddenly you can see everything, every unhealthy pattern, every way you've been holding yourself back, every belief that's been quietly running your life. And instead of feeling lighter, you feel overwhelmed, because now you can see the gap between who you are and who you're trying to become. And that gap can feel enormous. That's the paradox of growth. Awareness expands the gap before it closes it. And if nobody tells you that, you'll think something is wrong with you. The second reason working on yourself can make you more unhappy is this. For a lot of people, self-improvement isn't coming from a place of growth. It's coming from a place of not being enough. Every book read, every habit built, every morning routine optimized, all of it driven by a quiet belief that who you are right now is fundamentally insufficient. And when that's the root, when the whole project of self-improvement is built on the foundation of I am not enough yet, it can never make you happy, because the finish line keeps moving. You hit one target and immediately feel the pull toward the next one. You achieve something and feel relief for about 48 hours before the dissatisfaction returns. This is what I call self-improvement as self-rejection. And this is one of the painful traps in this entire space. Because it looks like growth, it feels like discipline, but underneath it, it's just a more polished way of telling yourself you're not good enough. The question worth asking is, am I working on myself because I love who I'm becoming, or because I can't stand who I currently am? The answer changes everything. The third reason is one the industry actively makes worse: comparison. Self-improvement content shows you what's possible, which sounds motivating, and sometimes it is, but it also constantly shows you the gap between where you are and where someone else is. Someone who wakes up earlier, someone who's more disciplined, someone who has achieved more, someone who seems to have figured out things you're still struggling with. And the more content you consume, the more people you're comparing yourself to, the more gaps you're seeing, the more ways you're finding to feel behind. There's a reason studies constantly show that heavy social media use, even self-improvement content, is linked to lower self-esteem and higher anxiety. Because you're not comparing yourself to one person, you're comparing yourself to the highlight reel of thousands, all at once, every day, and no amount of growth can keep up with that. The fourth reason is what I call the never arriving problem. The unspoken promise of self-improvement that there's a destination, a finished version of yourself that you're working toward. More disciplined, more confident, more at peace, more successful. And if you just keep working, keep growing, keep improving, you'll eventually arrive there. But you never arrive, because the destination keeps moving, because there's always another area to work, another habit to build, another belief to rewire, another level to reach. And if your happiness is conditional on arriving, on finally becoming the finished version, you will spend your entire life waiting to feel okay. Always one improvement away from being allowed to rest. Always one achievement away from feeling enough. So, what does healthy self-improvement actually look like? Because I'm not saying stop growing, I'm saying grow differently. Healthy self-improvement starts from a place of I am enough. It says I am already enough and I want more for myself. Not I am not enough and I need to fix myself. Healthy self-improvement is patient. It doesn't punish you for slow days or setbacks. It doesn't treat rest as failure or struggle as weakness. It holds you accountable without tearing you down. And healthy self-improvement celebrates who you already are as much as who you're becoming. Because the person doing the growing deserves as much respect as the person you're growing into. I want to leave you with one question. Not an action step, not a framework, just a question. Is your self-improvement make you feel more like yourself or less? More alive, more honest, more connected to who you actually are? Or more exhausted, more behind, more convinced that who you are right now isn't enough? Because growth should feel like expansion, not punishment. And if it feels like punishment, something needs to change. Not you, the approach. If this resonated, save it, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and tell me in the comments, has self-improvement ever made you more unhappy? Subscribe for more honest videos about growth. And if you want to go deeper, I have videos on self-sabotage, the lies the self-improvement industry tells you, and how to rewire negative thinking right here on the channel. I'll see you there.